behavior which happened with his grandparents. His grandparents were completely illiterate when they migrated from Italy to Providence City. Their situation was so dire that his grandfather made a living by selling fruits from a cart. One day, he got drunk with his friends and made a ruckus, and the police arrested him. Frank Caprio's grandmother borrowed money from the neighbors and went to court to bail out her husband, offering money to the judge in front of everyone, even in broken English and gestures. At that time, their young son, Tip, was with them, who knew a little English. The judge called Tip over and said, "Take your parents home, they are released." When Tip told his mother this, she returned, blessing the judge. This little boy was none other than Judge Frank Caprio's father, who was affectionately called Tip. Frank Caprio says that although this case happened long before I was born, hearing the story of that judge's behavior, even today, when I see immigrants in my court, I remember my grandparents, and I try my best to ensure they don't suffer any hardship. Frank Caprio's father's real name was Antonio Caprio Jr., but everyone called him Tip. When Frank Caprio's father came to America, they lived in a one-room flat where there was no hot water. 12 people in one room with only the light of a single lamp. He had to leave school in the 7th grade and started helping his father, Frank's grandfather, to support the family. The family situation was so bad that often lint would collect in their empty pockets. But Frank Caprio wrote that even that lint wasn't in their pockets. On November 24, 1936, Frank Caprio was born and he followed in his father's footsteps. And with festivities and wine, they started living with 80 cold water and in a one-room house. If they ever needed to take a shower, they had to travel several kilometers. His father, Tip, tried to set up several stalls, but due to the Great Depression, none of his businesses succeeded. Eventually, he got a job distributing milk, and from a young age, Frank Caprio also joined him. He started helping out, and once, when Frank was 8 years old, he had to deliver milk to a house. This house belonged to a wealthy man whose son was in Frank's school. Early in the morning, on an empty stomach, when Frank Caprio knocked on the door of this house, a strong aroma of toast wafted from inside. When the door opened, his schoolmate was sitting at the breakfast table crying. Frank thought maybe he would invite him in for breakfast, but instead, he was being scolded by his father. His father pointed to Frank and said to his crying son, "Be grateful you are fortunate.